Welcome to Two Brothers and a Mic. I am Matt.
And I am Jake.
Hey! I can see the look in your eyes because I didn't start off with the hey.
I'm a little upset.
Because you were ready to do it with me. I had to throw you off.
No, that's not how this works. Hey!
Hey! Is your mic on?
Yes.
Okay, it must just be my computer. My computer's falling apart. So, welcome back. Two Brothers and a Mic. We took last week off because of Easter. And then the week before that, Jake wasn't here. So he hasn't been here in a hot minute. It's been 2 weeks. I reviewed the Snyder Cut. You never got around to watching that, right? Okay, well. How have you been? How was your Easter?
Easter was awesome. We went over to our aunt's house and we had, well, I guess my aunt. Yeah, went over there and we celebrated. It was a lot of food and a lot of people. And the asparagus caught on fire in the oven. That was pretty cool. There was ash, a lot of it.
Jeez. Who burned the asparagus? Come on.
Yeah.
What else you been up to? It's been a while. Up until last night, I hadn't even really talked to you in a while. So
While you were off watching the Snyder Cut and recording the episode, I was sent to Virginia Beach for a week to work, and that will be happening again tomorrow, Sunday, aka yesterday. When they're listening to this, I'll be going down to Virginia Beach again to work all week. It's nice. It's cool to be able to walk around and be able to get out, close to the beach and all that.
right. I've never been to Virginia Beach.
I hadn't been up until then.
To my knowledge, I've never been. I mean, maybe I went when I was younger. I don't know, but to my knowledge, I've never been. Well, that's cool. I had a good Easter as well. I'm, as you can see, different backdrop. Of course, it was in the last episode as well, but I have officially moved into New Jersey for a little while, and then I started a new job. Easter was good. I think that's where I started to go with this. Easter was good, and did the church thing, did the Easter dinner thing here at the house, and just kind of had a relaxed day. Not a whole lot other than that going on. It's been a long 2 weeks, it feels, but really nothing major going on. I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about what's currently in the headlines as we record this. DMX has passed away. So rest in peace and thoughts and prayers to his family. I know they'll never watch this, but and I know you and I have very different opinions, as we learned about
the opinions we had turned out to be like not even necessary, because according to what you told me,
yeah, so I started to say you and I have opinions about the whole drug overdose thing, and I'm not going to dive into it, but now I'm hearing reports that he may not have died of a drug overdose. It might have been, his family is claiming that he was not back on drugs and that he had COVID, got the COVID shot, had a heart attack and was in the hospital and passed away. I am in no way saying that's what happened. I am in no way saying COVID shot's going to kill you. I am in no way saying COVID shot's not going to kill you. I'm just saying that's what his family is claiming. So, obviously an autopsy will reveal whether or not he was back on drugs or what killed him. If it was something like his family is saying, you probably won't ever actually get confirmation about that. But that's a topic for another day. I lost a friend, very similar situation. Also this week, I guess around the same time, but not this week. Someone I used to work with and became friends with, haven't seen him in a few years, but still stayed in touch ever so often. So, again, thoughts and prayers to his family. I have an announcement. Are you ready? You already know, but I have an announcement for others. So when we do these episodes every week, or try to every week, the movie reviews and the ones where we talk about movies seem to get a lot of attention. They're the most viewed episodes. And they're the most requested. I mean, we don't get many, but the comments we get are, can you review this? Can you talk about this? So that it's been in the back of my mind how to keep incorporating that. And we still will every now and then. We're not changing up anything here, but the announcement is that starting as soon as possibly next week, and I'll reveal a date once I have it, but possibly as soon as next week, we have Two Brothers and a Mic. I am going to introduce the world to the spin-off sister show. See what I did there? Two Brothers, Sister. The sister show spinoff, Two Nerds and a Movie. And that's not, Jake will not be a part of that unless, he's welcome to come on and be a guest and talk. But that'll be me and our cousin Dan going off and doing that show. He and I have been talking for a little while now about doing something similar to what you and I are doing. And so I kind of pitched, he and I like to talk movies, so I pitched the idea. And so Two Nerds and a Movie, the spinoff of Two Brothers and a Mic, is coming very soon, possibly again as soon as next week, but I'll let everybody know once I have a real date. And that'll be fun. If you like our movie episodes, stay tuned because that'll be fun. But we're still going to do it here. We're still going to incorporate it. We've got Star Wars coming up, I think, is the next thing that you'll watch and review in May. So about just under a month from now, for May the 4th, you'll be watching Star Wars for the first time, and we'll be getting a review from you on that. We have got a guest.
No, we don't. Right.
I'm sorry?
We don't have one.
Today, we have a guest on this show.
But I'm saying as of right now.
Not with us this second, but that's what I'm trying to build up to.
Oh, okay.
We have a guest. We are moving up in the podcast YouTube show world. It's our first official guest. Why don't you give us a little background? Not, let him obviously tell us more, but give us a little background on who he is.
So we're going to be bringing my buddy Justus onto the show. I've known Justus for probably 5 years or so now, maybe even 6. So, decent amount of time. I originally met Justus like through the gym and working out, similar, friends, and, kind of just were able to build a relationship off that. I recently just did a interview on his YouTube channel, which
he talked about it.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit more when he gets on here. But we hit him up, asked if he wanted to come on here, and he agreed to it. And we're just gonna be talking about his life, his photography, how he got started and all that, which is kind of cool how he did that because I kind of have an idea, but let's let's go ahead and bring him on if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Awesome.
Let's get it.
All right.
Justus, get your butt in here. Hey, there he is.
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, Justus. Is it Justus, right?
Yeah, Justus. Yep.
So how is that's your name? Like that's your obviously it's your name, but like that's your birth name?
That's my name from birth. Yep. That's what's
Is
on my
there
birth certificate.
is there a story behind that?
Man, I don't know. Evidently, my mom said that it was a biblical name, that it was in the Bible. It was supposedly Joseph's middle name or last name or something like that. I forget. I probably should know where my name came from, but anyway, it's unique.
It's a very cool name. It's just not something you hear like ever.
Right.
So it's very cool. And it's funny that you say it's biblical because we just literally were saying how you have the best camera quality on our own show. So you look the best out of everyone. And I said, you look like Jesus. So
Because the name, that's why.
yes, evidently.
When I hop on camera, just the clarity comes and the audio's there. It's a whole thing.
Yes.
I'm not even using a camera right now. So.
We need you to give us lessons, sir, because obviously you know how to do this better than we do. We're just a couple amateurs. I mean, look at this guy. This guy's got his bed in the background. Like, what is going on?
Oh, well, you should see the rest of the room that I'm in right now. It's a complete disaster. But yeah, so this is actually my wife's like little studio where she does her makeup. My wife sells makeup for Saint, and so she's got like a kind of little makeshift studio down here. I've got a studio. I guess you guys have maybe seen some of my YouTube videos. I have a studio down in the basement, but for these purposes, I figured it was gonna be like heads only type of deal. So I stole her recording studio for the night.
Look, I don't think we have very many lady fans, but just shout her out. What does she sell?
Heather, she sells Saint makeup. It's I don't even know, like it's makeup. That's all I really know.
Okay.
I think like the premise behind the business is it's really easy to apply. I think it's like a mid like price. I don't know about if it's high quality, low quality makeup. I think it's towards the upper end, but I think it's like semi affordable. It's more than you would get at like the grocery stores or Rite Aid and stuff like that. But I think the thing with it is it's supposed to be really easy to apply and everybody can use it. And I hope she's not listening right now because she'll probably try to like bust through the door and be like, well, no, let me tell you what it's all about. He's butchering it. But yeah, it's
Ladies and gentlemen, Justus and Heather.
yeah. SEINT, Saint.
Yes. All right. Well, there you go, kids. If you want makeup, contact this guy down below because
yeah, it's what I'm wearing right now. So if you like my look, then there you go.
And he looks like Jesus. So
Yeah.
So let's get into the weeds a little bit with things. This is our first time talking. I don't really know you, although when you added me on Facebook a couple days ago, evidently like we have a lot of mutual friends in common. So I was like, how do I not know this person? But that guy Jake. So how did you guys meet?
At the gym. I think he started coming to the Y, and I believe he told a story before. He saw me benching and he came up and asked like what I was using, a black slingshot overkill. So he asked like what it did and all that kind of stuff, and we just got talking from there. And then he ended up hanging around the same kind of group of guys that I lifted with, and just kind of progressed from there really. So he's become quite the power lifter through the years. He always had a lot to prove, I think he felt that way anyway. But now I'd say he's making his mark. I mean, he's got some pretty great numbers for his age and all that. So
Right.
I appreciate that. I definitely had a loud mouth for somebody that was totaling 1,000 pounds.
hey.
That was kind of what I brought. We had some guys that brought, the price of their truck payment that we talked about, and I was the one that always ran my mouth about lifting weights, and you know, but
Well, I mean, to be fair though, I think you knew a lot about lifting weights. You were just young and obviously not as strong as some of the guys who've been doing it for, 5, 10, however many years. So, running your mouth, but you actually, I think, knew what you were talking about and were learning more and more about I mean, I'm sure that you know a lot more about powerlifting than I do at this point, and you're a lot younger than I am. So, you stuck with it and researched it and put your time in. So,
I was going to ask, is that something you still do or no, or are you, how big of it are you into?
I mean, I still do like the movements. I don't know, like what is powerlifting? Is powerlifting going to the meets all the time and like, trying to get new records for yourself or break records and all that kind of stuff. So I don't really have any meets planned. I still do the movements in the gym, and that's kind of like how I base my training. It's just something that's always inspired me to keep going, because you can measure and see the results. But as far as like the competitions and all, it's something that I would definitely do again. It's just tough, man. I don't get to the gym and stuff like I used to. And you can make 1,000 excuses, but I just don't. Long story short, I probably go like 3 days a week at one point in time when I was in really good shape, and I was going like 5, 6 days a week. I never really like, I just went in and lifted. That's always kind of been my thing. Like I just go lift. I do the movements and I put in a lot of effort, but it was never something that I like had a regiment, like a strict regiment for. I kind of like loosely, and that's kind of everything I do in life is just very like shoot from the hip, for better or for worse. I guess it brings some degree of versatility, but I'm not a very regimented person at all.
Yeah.
My wife is, and she's like, how do you just do whatever? How do you not have a plan and all this kind of stuff? I'm like, I just do what I do. So
Yeah, I'm not a gym person at all, obviously, but when I do go, which is maybe once or twice a year,
right.
I that's how I am. I don't have a plan. I just go in, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go do this, or I'm gonna go do this and work on this now. But and then the next day I'm sore and I don't want to see it again for another year.
Right. Yeah, I like going to the gym. I like the being sore and I like all that kind of stuff. It's just, being pulled in so many different directions now that we have a kid. And, Heather is my wife, Heather is a CPA. So she's, well, at the very end of tax season now. She got one more week. So especially at this time of the year, it's just really tough to, go in and do it enough to the point where you could like go do meets and stuff. I mean, I guess you can do a meet whenever, but I'm not going to waste all the time and money and pay for a hotel and pay for the entry fees and all that kind of stuff if I'm not bringing like a good package. You know what I mean? Oh snap! Tracy got him, boy. We
got another guest.
You better clean that room, brother. Jacob, this is the last time I'm going to tell you. You better make that bed and get these clothes out of here.
what clothes? We're gonna cut that out.
There's clothes in the corner. He stuffed them out of view.
Yeah, there's no clothes. We're gonna cut that out. We're gonna come back right now.
You say that, but I might leave that in.
No, that's embarrassing, dude.
Nah, man, shoot from the hip, bro. That's what it's all about.
I don't even know what you were saying. I just seen her walk in, and
Yeah, you better stop listening to this video when your mom walks in. She'll be like, "Bro, listen to mama. You know where your priorities lie."
So, so you're not into well, you are, but you don't really do the gym thing as much. And you, as we mentioned multiple times, you've got a great camera setup. There's a reason for that. You have a YouTube channel, which we'll throw in the description so people can find you and follow you. And we'll also get you shouted out at the end here. But where I was going to say, where can people find you? Jeez, I'm wrapping it up already.
Bye-bye.
How did so what? Well, first tell us what it is that I guess that you are into, what you do, and then we'll dive more into it.
With photography, I mean.
Yeah.
So I pretty much do anything. I mean, I know a lot of photographers have like a niche, like they'll do weddings or boudoir or portraits, and then some people only do like wall prints, like landscapes and birds and animals and stuff like that. I literally do everything. I just like shooting. Anything to do with photography, any like aspect or channel that you could go down, I enjoy it. Like I said, I like the art aspect of it is like a really big thing for me. So I always try to, I don't like going out and just taking like snapshots of like, here's the town of Denton. I try to use like different angles and stuff like that. I don't know. It's weird because I edit my photos very differently. Like I don't have a consistent style between my photography, but people still come to me and they're like, I had a couple people actually say this. I'm like, man, when you post something on Facebook, like I know who posts it before I even look at who posts it. Just when I see the picture, I know that it's yours, which is very strange to me because like I said, a lot of photographers, they'll put like one preset on something and that's kind of like their style. You know what I mean? They'll use that, tweak it a little bit, but they'll use that for like all their shoots. And I don't do that at all. Like I edit each shoot differently for better or for worse. Like again, shoot from the hip type of deal, I guess, but I do pretty much whatever. I've just started getting into the video. I figure I got a camera, so why not utilize it to its fullest potential and use all its features? And that could be like another revenue stream for me, maybe later down the road if I can get a following. But yeah, I would say if you're talking from a business standpoint, most of my money comes, I think, like most people, from people. I do a lot of couples, families, like some modeling, like solo photo shoots. I've been getting more and more into weddings, which is good because that's where the money's at. So yeah, the revenue definitely comes from people, but as far as what I'm into, everything. I mean, so a goal of mine really would to be, eventually just travel around and just do like work from anywhere, go to cool places, take pictures of cool places and the animals that I see and, that kind of thing. And that way it's something I can do from literally anywhere in the world. It would be hard to do like a portrait photography business while you're kind of on the move because, you don't know anybody. I don't know anybody in Nevada, so I can't just be like, hey, I'm going to be in Nevada next week. Right. Anybody want to hit up and some people do that, I guess, if you're like, big on YouTube, TikTok, something like that, you might be able to pull that off, but I can't. So not yet.
No, right. Well, that's awesome. So is it just pictures that you do, just photography, or do you do like video too, or like when you do weddings, do you just do the pictures, or do you like you know what I'm trying to say?
Okay, I got I'm getting into that. I've got a guy that wants me to do a video for his business. He owns a cleaning company, and that's kind of the first like talks I've had about doing video professionally. Like I said, I've really never messed with video much. So like doing this kind of stuff is really cool. And that's kind of like why I started the YouTube channel, is just to get like the basics and all of it down. But I would love to start actually shooting movies and stuff like that one day. But again, business standpoint, I've never made to this day any revenue off of video yet. No.
And I've made only very little, sir. So it's okay. Jake, you're sitting up there in the corner, very quiet. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
Well, I mean, it's very awesome what Justus does. I can agree with whoever said that about seeing your picture on their Facebook feed and knowing whose picture it is. And even though you don't have that, consistent style, it's always like, that's a very well done picture. It's like Justus, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
thank you.
And you've come a long way from how you started, which I kind of wanted to throw that in there too. What was like your first experience with picking up the camera and just taking pictures?
Are you asking like what got me into photography, or like when I got my first DSLR camera, like how did I progress from there?
Let's go with both. What got you into it, and then how did you start and then progress?
Okay. So I'm gonna try to make this like as short-winded as possible, but I've always loved art ever since I was a little kid. I actually got sent away to a special school for bad kids. Like it wasn't for bad kids. There was a school that I went to over the summer one year. I believe it was either between 3rd and 4th grade or 4th and 5th grade for like artistically gifted kids.
Wow.
I drew pictures and stuff like that when I was little. for a kid, they were good. And it got me recognized, I guess, by somebody that got me into this school. My mom couldn't afford to send me to that school, and it was I believe it was in DC. So it was like, my mom was a single mom, on a limited income, and it wasn't going to happen. There was no like grants, or nobody was like, oh, we need him, we're going to sign him, bring him over here, we'll give him a full ride or anything like that. So I've always been into art. As I got like maybe into middle school or something, I just kind of like stopped with it because, you know, you're on to other things, but I've always liked art a lot. Drawing was always my thing, but then, with the crazy progression of cell phone cameras, that's kind of how I got back into it. I just started taking pictures of stuff. When I was out, like I had this job where I had to go out to like a lot of abandoned houses and stuff like that. So I started taking pictures of like abandoned houses and all, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And I started editing them and like doing these crazy edits and stuff like that on them. And a lot of people were like, wow, these are cool. Like you should get a camera. So I never really thought to do that. I was like, nah, why would I do that and spend all this money? I don't know how to use a camera. My cell phone works just as good, So, but I had started thinking about it. And so my wife actually got me a Canon T6, a Rebel T6, the same camera I think you have, for Christmas one year. And I just started playing with it, watching YouTube videos, going outside and practicing. I think that's a big thing that a lot of photographers neglect, is like going out and just shooting, So yeah, I kind of started doing it, and people were like, oh, these photos are really cool, for as long as you've been doing it anyway and stuff like that. I mean, there were never masterpieces. There's still, not now, in my opinion. You always look to like the viral ones and stuff like that, and you're like, oh, they're so good. How did But anyway, yeah, I just kind of picked it up and ran with it, and then I was like, you know what? I really like this. This is really fun. Why not try to make some money off of it? And I was just about to graduate with my bachelor's degree in business administration and marketing. And I always kind of had this thing. I was like, all these business instructors, they teach this stuff, but do any of them actually have successful businesses? I think that's kind of strange if they don't. So for me, it was kind of like a challenge. I was like, all right, like I got this camera, I take pretty good photos, considering everything. And let me see if I can find a way to make money with this. Like, what a great experiment it would be for me to, try to start my own business. Cause it's just, I haven't had too many jobs that I've really been super passionate about. And I've always kind of felt like, you're probably the type of guy that just needs to be your own boss and be able to do your own thing and not have anybody telling you what to do. I probably, a lot of that comes from, my dad wasn't in my life. So I never had like that, authority. I mean, my mom was, she kept a good grasp on me, but I think it probably stems from that. We're getting a little deep here, I guess, but I do. I think it probably stems from never having anybody like, you can't do that. So I'm just like, well, I need to be able to do what I want to do. Anyway, right. So yeah, I've been in business now for
2 years.
I think it's been like 2 years, something like that. And it's really like freaking grown, man, a lot. Just, I don't know if I should even be saying this or not, but just to give you an example, like my first year in business, which to be fair was like 2 months, I made $75. I did one paid photo shoot after I incorporated between that time and the next year. The following year, I made $2,500, which I thought was like a big jump. And then last year I made like $22,000. So, if that trend continues, not, I know it's not going to keep jumping up like that, but my point is it's grown a lot in just a few years.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of my thing. So short answer, I like art, and it was a business kind of experiment, I guess, really.
Yeah.
And it's done good.
Yeah, I have a lot of memories that jump in my head when I was, a sophomore in high school, maybe, and I would go to the gym, and you had this camera, and we would all be lifting, and you would just be taking pictures. And when you were resting, you would just be taking pictures. You weren't checking your phone. You weren't sitting down doing nothing. You were taking pictures of us lifting. And, we would see them and they'd be like, wow, these are nuts, and you were editing them with like a cell phone app. So
Yeah.
to think you went from then to now, it's like, possibilities are endless.
And the ultimate goal is like I mean, I think you hit on, but I think your goal is that you're looking to just travel and kind of do it full time, right?
I mean, that would be cool. Yeah. So my thing is, I'm going to do it full time one day. And I don't know if that's going to be when I retire in 25 years from my current job, or if it's going to, I don't know if it's going to be 25 days or 25 years. If my thing is, I think everybody should follow their passion. And if you can find a way to make money off that passion without ruining that passion, why would you do anything else, But the money's got to be there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm cool with it remaining like a side gig for, like I said, maybe I'll retire from where I'm currently at and then do it, full time or part time, whatever I feel like doing, I guess at that point. But if it gets to a point where I'm so busy that I can't, handle both anymore and the money's good, if I'm somewhere comparable to what I'm doing now, then I guess that's a decision that I'll have to think about when we get to that point, but we ain't quite there yet. So
and everything you are doing now, I mean, you're a father, you're obviously you're married, you're doing, you got a job, you got a regular, I assume a regular full-time job.
yeah, full-time
So
job.
I mean, you're doing all this on everyday normal stuff while trying to also manage and build up this other career of yours. And I mean, has that brought any challenges to you, or?
That's the challenge every day, man. Yeah, it's tough. A typical day for me consists of probably waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning and probably not going to bed until, well, not right now because it's like about to be photography season. But I remember last fall, the fall photo shoots were a really big thing for me last year. And I mean, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, not going to bed till 11, 12 at nighttime. And then, pretty much working the whole time between getting up, basically get up, get the baby ready, go to work, come home from work. Now I'm back to the gym. So now we got like another, layer on top of that. But so I leave right from work to go pick my daughter up from daycare. And then when my wife gets home, we mutually help out with the baby and do everything that we need to do there and get dinner ready and all that kind of thing. And then once she goes to bed around 8:30, that's when I would stay up and edit photos until whenever. I pride myself on having a pretty quick turnaround, with giving people their photos back. Like after we do the photo shoot, you have to edit the photos and then send them back to them. And I pride myself on having a pretty quick turnaround with that. So yeah, I mean, 6 to 11 is kind of what I've been doing for a long time now. Now over the winter, it was a little bit of a break because I really didn't do that many photo shoots over the winter. And I expect that that's probably how it's going to be, just because nobody wants to go out and get their pictures taken in freezing cold, unless it's like snowing or something. That's
Christmas cards, bro. Christmas cards. People do them all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very challenging. And so my wife has two jobs as well. She's a CPA and she sells the makeup. So it's a struggle because we don't want to ever take time away from our daughter that she needs with both of us. So, while Heather has been doing tax season and all, it's really, I'm not going to say it's put a strain on our relationship because we were both like aware that we're trying to build these, like we have these jobs and then we have these side jobs and we have a baby to take care of. So like, we're both adults. We know that this is like a temporary thing. But we have very much so, not been spending as much time with each other as we need to. But we understand that. We understand it's not going to be a forever thing. So it's, there's only so much time in a day, so. But it's a struggle. It's very time consuming to do all these things. And I understand why a lot of people wouldn't want to do it. So.
Well, good for her for supporting you, it sounds like, and you guys working as a team to make it all happen. That's awesome.
Yeah. And real quick before you go on to your next point, for any of you watching, that are married or thinking about getting married or even just have a girlfriend, like you guys have to remember that you're on the same team and your partner is, not only the person that you love and care about and want to spend time with and all that, but they're your business partner too. I mean, they have to be on the same page as you. That's a big thing. I mean, I know a lot of married couples, and then you're kind of like got this, trap around you, right? I mean, not to say that marriage is a trap, but you can't just up and leave. You know what I mean? So if you've got one person who wants to go spend a bunch of money and the other person doesn't, that's a problem. And if you've got one person making all the money and then the other person doesn't, I think people need to think about that, and I'm not saying like be like only date somebody who's rich and good with money and responsible and stuff like that. I mean, people can work on those things, but I mean, it's a big thing. You have to remember that they're your business partner as well. So just a side note.
There you go, kids. Two brothers and a mic bringing you marriage advice as we go along.
I did that because of the female followers thing. There you go.
There you go. I wanted to touch on because I don't know how much Jake has told you or if anything, or how much you know about me, but I'm big into the video aspect. You wouldn't think that because right now I'm using a computer and things that I look like, I think Jake called it a sack of potatoes. I don't have the best quality right now, but so that's where my interests lie. So I would like to know the YouTube channel. Tell us about that. You're doing like some sort of show on there. I know Jake was your first guest. I watched that. We plugged that. I don't know if you know, but we plugged that.
No, I didn't. Thank you.
When it happened, we threw the link in and we talked about it on here. So tell us more about that. What's going on with that?
Again, man, an experiment. I want to get good with video. I want it to be a potential, revenue stream, not only the video, but like YouTube itself, monetizing it. I had actually a video that I put out a long time ago, recorded on my cell phone. It was a cheat code that I found, or like not a cheat code, but like an exploit that I found in a video game. And it had like 10,000 views almost, something like that. Okay. Something just.
Yeah, that is.
I got that too.
Yeah.
Shout out to Zoom. They removed the 40-minute time limit on our group meeting. Shout out Zoom.
Is that what that is?
That's what that is.
You got talking about monetizing stuff. You guys are bad, Zoom. Yeah. So, and I had a couple other videos that I did where I did some acting on another guy's page, and it actually like blew up and got a lot of views, but he got his page demonetized because he did something funny on another set of videos. Anyway, just exploring potential revenue streams really, and wanting to learn how to, my camera does photo and video. So why not learn how to use the thing, especially if it's going to be how I'm making money in 25 days to 25 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's been kind of my thing. The show idea, like I think interviews are really cool. Basically, that's what I want to do is I want to interview people from like all different walks of life. Basically anything that's interesting is something that I'd like to put on there. So yeah, my next episode is actually going to be a guy that he microdoses psilocybin mushrooms, the compound in mushrooms that gives you whatever effect that it gives. I've never done mushrooms, so I don't know, but anyway, he wants to talk about that on like a spiritual level, a medical level. He's a recovering alcoholic. So evidently he used to be pretty bad with drinking, and it's something that's kind of liberated him from that. And anyway, that's what the next episode is going to be about. But literally anything that might draw people's attention, I'm interested in having on the show. And also, as I go out and do more with photography, and get more of the necessary gear and stuff like that, I want to put in like some photography videos. I do a lot of camping and traveling and stuff like that. So, I know you're supposed to have a niche. Is a niche? I say niche. I think it's niche though. I know you're supposed to have like a niche. I again shoot from the hip. I don't care about any of that. It'd be cool to like make money and have like a big following and stuff, but I just want to post like the stuff that I do, and maybe that'll be enough in itself. I don't know.
Yeah.
If not, oh well. So that's what I plan to do with the channel anyway.
Before I move on to kind of bring it to a head, Jake, do you have anything else you'd like to ask or talk about?
Justice, is there any advice that you could give to someone who is trying to get into photography or anything in that realm, photography, videography? Is there anything you can steer them as far as equipment, how much they should look to spend, what time they need to, delegate to it? So anything like that?
As far as gear goes, I'm not a good person to ask about that because I always have the philosophy of, and luckily I'm blessed to have like a good job and a wife that has a good job and stuff like that. But I'm real big on, when I first started with photography, I was like, oh, buy this entry level camera and then you can upgrade to this camera and eventually buy a pro camera. I don't like that because I feel like you just waste a lot of money on the in between steps. If I'm gonna go spend a bunch of money on something, I'm just going to get the best one, out of the gate. I started with an entry level camera and I went right to Canon's, not top level camera, because that's like a $6,000 camera, but I went to like, the next pro camera that was under that. So I'm not a good person to ask about gear because, like I said, luckily I'm blessed and I can get, decent stuff. Just do research. As far as advice I can give people wanting to get into photography and videography about how they can get good at those things, YouTube is your best friend. I don't know why, but people like to pay people to teach them things. A lot of people like take these courses or they'll like get a mentor and stuff, none of which is like bad, but I'm assuming and I'm assuming here that you're getting into photography or videography to make money. Those costs cut into your bottom line. So why spend $600, $1,000 or whatever on a course when you don't even know if this is something that you're going to be able to make money off of or something that you're going to stick with, when you can literally learn from some of the best photographers and videographers in the world for absolute free on YouTube. I don't understand that. I have looked into like paying somebody to teach me more about photography now, because I think I'm at the level where it's very easy on the internet in general, not just YouTube, to find like rookie, beginner, like noob advice. It's harder to find like intermediate and expert level advice. And your questions start to get very targeted, and it's hard to find answers to some of that on, something like YouTube where, I think there's a lot more videos based on like beginner questions. But if you are a beginner, if you, like you said, you're somebody who's just getting started, I absolutely think that YouTube or just Google or whatever, one of those channels is the best way that you can learn. So, and what was your other question? It was the recommended gear, advice, and then there was a third one that you asked me. I forget what it was.
I'm not even sure, to be honest. I'm like intrigued into what you're saying. So like I'm tuned in. So what did I say, Matt? What did I say? Do you know?
I think he covered it. I don't
I
really.
think so too. I don't. That's why I think that's why I'm drawing a blank. I don't think it's because I'm dumb. I think it's because you actually covered what I was saying.
Okay. Yeah. Free advice, I think, is great, especially when you're starting out, because there's so much of it for free out there. So take advantage of that, because we never had that before. The internet age and the social media age, you had to pay somebody before. You just had to learn it on your own and take a lot longer to learn it. But now, I mean, sky's the limit. That's why people like myself are able to pick up a camera and become like relatively successful with it in just a few years, because I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I got a lot of free information, and I'm very thankful for that. So yeah.
I know a guy who's replacing the engine in his car, and he's not a car guy, but he's doing it all by watching YouTube videos.
Oh
yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I'm not saying that's the best advice. If don't do that, maybe if you need a new engine in your car, but hey, I mean,
yeah,
plug and play, baby, plug and play.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody gives you bad photography advice or you mess something up on YouTube, like you wasted a picture, but I don't know. Wasting an engine is a lot more costly than wasting a snap.
Right.
But hey, I mean, you do you.
Exactly. So is there anything that like inspires you to keep going? Like, I'm sure there's days, as with anyone, with anything, where you're just like, is it really worth it to keep doing this? But then usually within an hour or maybe the next day, you're back at it. But what keeps that drive going?
Yes, there are definitely days like that where I feel like, man, am I gonna make it in this? You know, is this something that I should pursue? A big thing for me, because I didn't pick up my first camera till I was 29. So I'm like, man, you know, you've got all these people that are out here that have, I mean, that are my age at the time that have potentially, you know, 20 or more years of experience if they started when they were a little kid. I'm like, how can I compete with that? You know, so yes, that definitely does happen. I think the thing that keeps motivating me is, number one, I love doing it. It's fun for me. I like it. I like interacting with the people, like when I go on photo shoots, like weddings or couples and stuff like that. I think that's one thing that I bring to my business that a lot of people like. I think a lot of photographers can be hard to work with because they think they're like, you know, the head honcho, but you have to remember, like, these people that I'm shooting for, I'm their employee. Like, they're paying me to do something for them. I'm providing them a service. So they are my boss, right? Anyway, I bring a lot of like entertainment. I think on the photo shoots, like people are often very happy. A big thing is guys. Like guys do not like getting their picture taken. Like a lot of times, these guys, you can tell when you show up to the photo shoot, they're like, they just do not want to be there, right? Because they think it's going to be like this horrible, like girly thing, you know. And by the end of it, a lot of them are like, yeah, that was actually really cool. I had one guy that was like kind of like fanboying about it. And he was like, man, I want to do these. Actually, so I did a photo shoot with him, and they ended up booking a wedding with me. And he was like, "Yeah, I don't want any other photographer but him. He was hilarious and all this kind of stuff." So I think that's something that, you know, I can add to the business. But yeah, so I like it a lot, and I know that eventually, at some point, 25 days, 25 years, it's something that I can do, and I can do for myself. I can do it exactly how I want to do it. It opens up a lot of like options for me, like to travel and stuff like that. You know, I love traveling. So if I can go, you know, somewhere and travel, and take pictures of a place that I never would have gone to and write some of that off as business expenses, then that's great. You know, it's just, number one thing though, is it's because it's something that I'm passionate about and I really like the, you know, art aspect of it. And I like doing it. I like being outside. You'll notice most of my photo shoots are done outdoors. Yeah, it's a lot of things that I like all rolled into one hobby, which I guess now has become a business for me. So
Very cool. Very cool.
passion, I suppose, to sum it up.
I'm gonna gear off of you, Justice, for just a second. Jake, 2 weeks ago, I asked you a question live in front of everybody, and I presented an idea to you. I wanted to see if you wanted to come play and make a movie one more go around with me, and you didn't know it was coming, and I kind of threw it on him on the spot, and I gave him time. So now I am asking on the spot, Jake, do you have an answer for my question 2 weeks ago?
So I have thought about this a lot. And I've thought about what would go into it and how, you know, what I would have to do, what would have to happen. And I think I can proudly accept your offer. Um, and you know, it's definitely, when you presented the idea, we kind of talked about it a little bit more after we got off air, and I think it's a really cool idea. I think it's going to be a good experience, you know. So I'm going to be looking forward to it.
Cool. So, and I'm not going to throw you on the spot, Justice, but I am going to say, let's find some time soon to I'd like to speak with you off camera about something.
Okay. And hey, my life is living on the spot. So if you want to ask me now, go for it. But if it's a long drawn out thing, then
Well,
yeah.
I don't want, it's not that it's a long drawn out thing. It's that I don't necessarily want to give too much of away.
I got you.
I mean, the people that watch this, they kind of already know, but they don't know really a lot of what it's about. Whereas when I present this to you, I want to present it to you in its full what it is.
Cool.
So
we'll get some time together and talk about it.
cool deal, cool deal. And now we're Facebook buddies, so I can find you.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that you would like to plug or throw in or like talk about before we wrap up?
See, now you're putting me on the spot. The only thing I really want to say is, to people, like, find your passion. I think a lot of people don't have hobbies and aren't like really passionate about anything in life, and that's sad and kind of strange to me that people haven't found anything that they really really like to do. And I know a lot of people are very against like monetizing their hobbies because then they say it's not a hobby anymore, which I get that in a lot of respects. But yeah, find something that you're passionate about in life and devote a lot of time to it, whether you're trying to make money off of it or not, because happiness is the number one thing. And don't chase, like, I'm real bad about this. I'm real big on this. Don't live to your income. Like, a lot of people, they're always trying to look for like a higher paying job so they can buy like cooler toys and shit like that. You're enslaving yourself. Don't do it. Live below your means. Oh shit. Somebody said something the other day. Oh, never mind. It's not like a relevant quote, but anyway, make as much money as possible, spend as little money as possible. Then you'll have as much free income as possible, and then you'll be able to enjoy your free time as much as possible. And if something bad happens to you at work or something like that, you're not going to lose everything you got.
Yeah.
So,
amen.
Personal finance, definitely do some research on that because that's big. Don't spend every dime you make.
Amen. So Justus, where can they find you? All the photography, the YouTube, all of it. Where can they find you?
Oh God, I don't even know where they can find me on YouTube. I just look up Justus Gellert on YouTube, JUSTUS GELLERT on YouTube. Like, I don't even know. Is there?
We'll make it easier and find it for you guys and throw it in the description. Okay,
cool. Yeah. My Instagram and my Facebook are both like at Justuscapes Photography. So it's JUSTUS CAPES Photography. And that's my spell it in my head. That's my Instagram and then Facebook. So it's like facebook.com/Justuscape Photography. And on there, you can find ways to contact me. I'm not going to put my cell phone number out there. But I don't know why not, because it's on there anyway. I've got a website. It's www.justuscapesphotography, spelled the same way, .com. Justuscapesphotography.com. All my stuff is Justuscapes Photography. So if you listen to the spelling of that, then you'll be able to find me pretty much anywhere. So yeah, I mean, I would appreciate you guys come and check it out. If you like it, give some likes, follows, comments, shares, whatever you got to do, whatever you feel like doing, it's appreciated. And I'd love to work with any of you. Like I said, I do anything. That's something I'm real big on. Anything with photography. Like, I've had people, come up to me with like some pretty wild ideas. I'm like, let's do it. Like, I did a Star Wars themed photo shoot over the winter in the snow. And she was like, hey, I know this is kind of weird, but I was like, hell yeah, do it. Bring your lightsaber out. We'll get you a little hoodie and all that kind of stuff. So I haven't done any like boudoir photography yet, which is something that I want to do. Just, again, it's not really like, oh, I want to see, half naked women. It's just the revenue streams, man. I'm a businessman, So I think it's cool too. Like, it's a different thing. It's a different type of photography. Problem is, you need like a really nice studio and stuff like that. That's actually something one of the reasons why I would kind of like to pursue boudoir photography, or at the very least, I know a lot of women aren't comfortable with working with a man with boudoir, which that's fine. I get that. But I would at least like to meet up with some other ladies who do that, because I do have some level of interest in purchasing a studio one day. You know, like an old building or something like that we can do different setups in and have like the cool, like, you know, big window light coming through in the old brick buildings or something like that. You know what I mean? Wood floors and things like that. So that would be something that I've been thinking about possibly pursuing. But I like to run my business lean, so I don't like a whole lot of especially fixed costs. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Awesome.
But yeah, I like doing it all. So if you guys got any ideas, hit me up.
I will be hitting you up very soon, sir.
Sounds good to me.
Jake, where can they find you?
You can find me at Jacob.Winstead, Winstead on Instagram.
And I am at Matthew Winstead, same spelling, no dot. Everybody, that's a show. That's our first guest. That's a wrap. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on, Justus. It's been a blast. We'll definitely got to have you back. And if things kind of work out with what I'm going to present to you off camera, then we're definitely going to have you back. You know, everybody, hope you have a great week. Thank you for tuning in. Everybody, love one another. See you later.
Take care, everybody.